Nau mai hoki mai, bro. I ngā mahi a rarohenga. Ko hoki mai ki te ao kiko nei. Tēnā koe, my brother. Tautoru, you are one of three. And we've had many conversations and shared many spaces together, and just to have you sitting across the table, it's been a long time coming. It wasn't a matter of if, it was just a matter of when. So kia koe Heemi Kapa-Kingi nau mai ki te tēpū, brother.
Tēnā koe, my bro, tēnā tātou.
How you doing, bro? First and foremost.
Yeah, good, bro. I messaged my kaita, I think, yesterday or potentially Saturday, just to say like how long it kind of took to come back ki te ao marama. Because, roto I mahi, to my mataora, like there's like the physical ending of the work, the actual doing of the moko. But just kia hoki mai taku wairua kia, I think that's probably the delay. And so just actually having time to sit, to think, to reflect, and to share my gratitude for all our whānau that came, particularly to my bro for sitting with me and guiding me through rarohenga. But then just come out on this new side and to be reinvented, I guess, in a way, or reinvented in terms of my identity and this commitment in terms of a mataora. So yeah, it's been beautiful, brother.
And it was weekend, a moko papa, for your entire whānau.
Yeah, bro. And so, yeah.
Talk about that element.
Oh, bro, kia pono, it's even probably a bit bigger than just our whānau. Like, so for our iwi of Te Aupōuri, the kōrero is ko te atua ki te rangi, ko Te Aupōuri ki te whenua. Te ngako, the essence of what that is to speak on how pious and how religious we are. Our dedication to our Lord, our faith in the Lord, the many churches and faiths that exist in Te Kao, in our tribal region of Te Aupōuri. So for that to be kind of the premise, and for us to step in with a moko papa, this marking of skin, in a heathenous way, was a bit of an undertaking, bro. So that was really big, just for our iwi. It was big for our whānau for the last of us to come through and get our moko, and particularly for my brother and I, the last in our immediate family to get it done. We were in the minority, but yeah, to come through and to make this commitment. And I call it a commitment because it's easy. What I found with our whānau, like we've done our stuff with te reo, we've done our stuff with tikanga, with kaupapa. I was like, why be reluctant when it comes to moko? Why be reluctant when it comes to mataora? Like you're a man, your family that's committed to this thing, yet you think you're above this. And so there was a bit of unpacking and a bit of unlearning, I guess, in that thought. So he goes, no, he Māori ahau, ka whānau Māori mai, ka mate Māori atu. So this is that, I guess, physical form. Yeah.
Saw videos and saw your baby, and then there was that cool ass photo, your papa, your mama, and your makau, your hoa, done it on the exact same day as well. And so baby is seeing mama and papa just go through this. And when you first saw your reflection, bro, whether it was in a mirror or in a photo, like what were the first feelings you experienced?
It's quite surreal, bro. Like it's quite a out of body experience, I think. Like, because you can see the mataora because it's so profound, but you also see your face behind it. And I think it's that marrying of those two things. We're like, wow, this is my new identity. So that was a bit of a moment, bro. Like I saw my reflection and I went, okay, I see me, I see this new thing, and now it's me merging those two things to really sit as a thing. And it's not necessarily a new Hemi, I don't think, but it is a new life, definitely.
That's a cool visual, the seeing you, but then there's this new thing that is now a part of, or rebirth of in a sense. And so that's awesome, bro. So awesome to have that experience and to have you here now. And a big part of like your kaupapa, we're passionate very much so around the same kind of things, and that's our tāne, that's being articulate, that's learning to be in touch with emotions, that's being a provider, and all of these other versions of what it means to be a well-rounded tāne, or let's just say a tāne Māori. And so, when we think about many of those themes, what is at the front of mind or on top of your heart at the moment when it comes to a discussion around this kaupapa?
I might start with something I just recently shared with our ropu of tāne. which is the Māui Complex. The Māui Complex, from what I've observed, is something that many Māori men in my life and I imagine a lot of people's lives see, and it's this relentless attitude, this relentless need, this relentless activity to try and be competent in every single possible field. A tāne could
like
be in
competent ...
Yeah.
fill in the gap, eh?
Exactly, yeah. So competency in te reo, competency in providing, competency in finance, competency in tikanga, competency in karikia tawhito, competency in fishing, diving, hunting. All these things we think we have to try and meet in order to be valuable. All these things we try and meet, try and be worthy. The issue with that standard and with that complex, it is unobtainable. And if it's unobtainable, that means our worth, our value that's so closely aligned to that complex is never going to be satisfied.
No.
We're never going to be worthy. We're never going to be valuable.
Out of reach, eh?
Yeah. So we're always going to fall short of who we think we need to be. And so it's going to, because of that complex, it's going to take a little bit of time or a little bit of effort to unpack it, to regulate the standard, to make it more realistic and to make it more personal. Some of us are more tuned to karikia. Some of us are more tuned to te taio. It's knowing who you are. And trying to be this Maui, trying to be the master of all things, is impossible. E pai ana. We are not Maui. We are human, he tangata te tangata. And I think that's been something I've slowly start to see in some of my friends, and so slowly started to address in myself and my friends as well.
So it's that reconciling with, I'm not going to have competency across all of these things, and certainly not in these things that I'm just trying to pick up now. And I think that's, that's real, what would I say? Reassuring isn't the right word, but as I listen to you share that, there's something within it that gives me this sense of, like, when I think about Māui Complex, it's this big, huge thing. But now when we have this core around the complex, it's like, well, maybe that big thing is not big anymore, and like how my life is okay. Rather than it needing to be anything more to feel like that's what life is. But where I am now in my life, when I'm still have these deficiencies, which is part of being human, that's part of, us having value and being alive in that space. Is that part of like
bro. And it is. It's reconciling what it is to be human. It's reconciling what it is to be he tangata. A mortal walking our mortal lives in our mortal worlds. That's what I think it is. Another way to also view this is if Māui Complex, being great at all these things, is Hawaii ki nui, Hawaii ki roa. That vision and that fixation, I guess, on what that is, robs us of our current. Of our now. So if we call this Hawaii ki nui, Hawaii ki roa, it robs us of our Hawaii ki iti. Just right here, right now. My family, what I have, the things that I appreciate. But if I'm always comparing my Hawaii ki iti with my Hawaii ki roa, it's always going to look short. It also means that I'm responsible for that. I'm responsible for making that comparison. I'm responsible for over-consuming media. I'm responsible for making those comparisons against other tāne Māori. And also, so the responsibility to change that also falls upon me, to draw back to my Hawaii ki iti, to draw back on those comparisons, to draw back on that consumption, to say, actually, all that I am, all that I have is all that I need. So I think that's been really powerful. And for you, bro, you know what being grateful is. You've got it tattooed on your hands. But just to be grateful, to be present, and to be available to your Hawaii ki iti, I think is powerful and changing.
Does that kind of perspective, when embodied and like fully invested in, can that like transform or alchemize the Hawaii ki iti to a Hawaii ki nui?
It does,
could that like be a way of making whatever our life is now the Hawaii ki nui?
Yes, 100%. So through that same process of drawing back to ourselves, you figure this is all you need, and all you need is great. All you need is more than enough. All you need is becomes tantamount to what a Hawaii ki roa is. It's not to undermine having aspirations, having ambitions. Paena tērā, te koke whakamua. It is good to have forward momentum to our goals. Don't let the goal become so loud, so obnoxious that we fail to recognize the silence and the beauty of it inside our current moments here, right now.
I love that because that speaks so hard to the season that I'm currently in at the moment. And for a while there was this very much so gratitude for the now. And what I've picked up is that was also me being comfortable. You know, it was complacent. And so although, I'm loving this and being with my whānau and being papa mode and just fully just submitting to that space, there was the presence, but then there was also the comfort, because as soon as the other areas of life started knocking, such as where's the mahi, where's the pūtea, that creates a lot of distraction away from, really experiencing that fully. And so for me, it was a wake-up call to be present, but also to have, as you said, that ambition and continuing just to stretch in those areas and to evolve, but not getting too lost in the, as you say, the Hawaii nui.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, to that point, like comfortability breeds complacency. And it's not necessarily a bad thing to be so present, to have those moments, but it's having vision, I guess, beyond the current as well. Vision for here and oversight of what's to come, which is a balance, bro. Like, and as you put it, like, that's just as true as the other side, the Māui Complex we've just spoken about, being too forward focused, the anxiety associated to that,
right?
And then being too currently focused, that we become locked in, become complacent in a single time domain. But yeah, it is about finding balance, and really I think that's what this whole health journey is just balance everywhere. Either a great partner and then not healthy, or then you're really healthy and you're a bad partner and not a present dad. It's like what am I picking? So this act of balancing and this
that's all the mahi, balance is meant to be, being balanced and being tau, but really it's mahi. Because you're working actively on all of these things in a way to create harmony, to create peace, to create abundance, to create more aroha and flow. And I think, one thing that I recognized within you was just around the sense of being tuned into, your karearoto, your emotions, and for you, like, what has been the practice for you to get familiar with understanding yourself in that way?
I'll put it like this, and as a way that other tāne might appreciate, I find the strongest moments where I'm most in tune with myself, where I'm most kind of figured out about what I'm feeling, is actually when I'm physically the most tired. So like, say if I go for a really hard workout, go out in the morning and I'm driving back home from the gym, that's when I'm like, whoa, that's what I'm feeling. This is what I'm thinking. That goes back to this experience. Like, it's a really clear, it's a lot clearer, I guess, that process of unpacking each stage and each moment to figure out the experience that I'm currently having. And what I think is happening is that through that physical exertion, you lose your physical strength because you're quite literally fatigued. So what are you left with? Your mind and your feelings. And so that's where this whole bravado, this whole tension that I'm holding in my tinana, it falls away. And when that falls away, I'm like, okay, who's left here? Oh, it's me and it's my feelings. And so I think that's another, that's one of the ways I practice. If it's not actively, but that's one of the more passive ways, I guess, from getting to those feelings. But it does take, in the more active ways, like as it implies, like an exertion and an action to follow through. So actually, it does take a bit of time to just like to sit and to be present. It's so easy to be distracted by a lot of the things that we see. It's so easy to be distracted by social media, by the content that we consume on TV, by food, by people, by events. It's so easy to be distracted by so many things. The power of silence and sitting with yourself, I think, can't be underrated. Can't be underestimated. The same with a lot of the stuff that we practice both inside of therapy, I'm like, man, this is basic stuff. It's breathing, it's focusing, it's journaling. I mean, I think those are the things that can really help tāne. It's just like, man, I need to find time for myself, to go into myself. Because we're often outwards, but like going in, scary. It's big stuff.
I was listening to this podcast on the way up from Whakatane, and it was with Jay Shetty and Russ. And it was a really awesome podcast and a lot of themes in it, but there was this common word or phrase that Russ was saying that I think aligns to that. When we talk about, growth, we have a grow up, and what that is sort of suggesting is that, we're aspiring for external progress or success, but he kept saying grow down. He's in the season of growing down, which is, like you said, going in, which is like going within ourselves. And as you said, it's a real challenging thing there, because we're confronting a lot of things that we've been either avoiding or things that we would rather not experience again. And so to grow down or to go within, there's almost a acceptance of, I'm going to be meeting some of these things that are very hard for me to do so. But what are some of the things that can, guide some of our tāne who are listening to this, or, mamas or sisters or wahine who are, with partners and things like that? What are some of the things that you share when it gets to that point of, I need to go within, but then it's just there's those barriers that come up because of the challenge?
Yeah. One thing that we're very strong on, or John Kingi and I, through the kaupapa Soften Up, bro, is permission granting. Permission to be vulnerable, permission to go into yourself. And I think through that permission and with a bit of activating and a bit of prompting, tāne do kind of fall in. But because our default setting is to have those walls up, to have those guards up, it's very difficult to step into that naturally. So for the tāne that do come to our wānanga, we invite them to do that, to spend a whole 60 seconds, and this is hard, a whole 60 seconds in complete silence. Our whole world is filled with colour, noise, and distraction. So even moments like that, I think, are very powerful. And I think tāne can do it by themselves, just in your car, wherever you might be, find time to be alone and just to think, what am I feeling? Where am I feeling it? Is it in my chest? Is it in my jaw? Is this memory associated with a person? Is that associated with a feeling? What is that feeling? Can I name that feeling? Is it sadness? Is it grief? Is this anger? Is this frustration? Really spending time to understand ourselves in. Well, 60 seconds is the start. Like these are things that will happen over time, and that's probably a second point. Don't think that by attending one Soften Up pro kaupapa, you've changed. You'll come out the other side. It will take a whole year probably for that to come back around, but it's the start. And though it's small, you can start now.
I really like that, because it's something that anyone can initiate, at any time. And as soon as, even when I start meditating, or even if I'm in the space of wanting that silence, my mind is like hungry to get out of that. It's like wanting to just reach for the phone, or it's thinking about that thing that I needed to do, because all of a sudden now when I'm silent, I remember what I needed to do. And so we want to get up and get out of it, but that's the practice, It's like, can we bring ourselves back? Can we just have this moment to ourselves? Because what I share with people in wānanga and spaces, when we think about just ourselves and think about from the time we wake up to the time that we go to sleep, what are we doing? We're waking up, we're brushing our teeth, we're in our thoughts, we're looking after the kids, we're getting ready for mahi, we're going to mahi, we're looking after them. Where is time for you? And yes, we can go and do training, but that's physical. It's not the same as actually just spending time with ourselves and seeing our own thoughts, or like having a body scan and just seeing where you're feeling the tension, or, the emotions that you might be experiencing. And so I guess that 60 seconds of silence is an easy step that anyone could take in. Even if you feel like you have that urge to reach, just noticing that is a huge win. And it's a huge win to even just bring yourself back. And so you spoke about Soften Up, bro. Talk about that, bro. How did that kaupapa, or what is that kaupapa?
Soften Up, bro, is a kaupapa started between myself and my very close friend John Kingi. You started back in 2018, I believe, and it literally was born out of a conversation between him and I. So John had been living in Auckland for some time, and I just recently moved there back in 2018. I was like, bro, let's catch up. So he comes over to my house, and we haven't seen each other in person for quite some time. So we're like, okay, so let's like catch up. He starts telling us some stuff, and then conversations going, and we kind of hit these really personal issues that we're both going through. And I was like, oh, okay, like I didn't think I was going to share this. He didn't think he was going to share what he was sharing. We found it, and it was, as we were going through it, it felt real like cathartic, it felt real therapeutic. Kind of just let someone know that I'm feeling this thing, he was feeling this thing. And we're like, true, okay, this is really powerful. So through that interaction, we made a decision, or made a kind of a contract, I guess, between each other. Like, if we go through some stuff, bro, like I'm going to come to you. If you go through the same, I want you to bring it to me. Quite cool. We have trust, we have relationship, no judgment. We feel safe. We have all those things set in place for a really open discussion about issues and the difficulties that we were going through. We're like, cool. And over time, it became normal practice. Like, it was like 2 a.m. If it was like in the afternoon, it didn't matter. We were just reaching out, and we're just like, it might be a text, it might be a phone call, it might be a Facebook message, whatever. We're just communicating. That was my most important part. As that progressed, we thought to ourselves like, okay, how do we take this kaupapa or this practice and make it a kaupapa? Because we kind of, I guess, geared that way, trying to do the most. Like, okay, sweet bro. And an idea that I'd been sitting on for a while was a kaupapa named Soften Up Bro. And Soften Up Bro as a name is a direct flip of the kōrero Harden Up Bro, which is the immediate default response from most of the generation above me, some of the generation within this generation, when emotions come up or vulnerability comes up with other tāne. So we're like, that's unhelpful. How can we change it? Let's flip the script. And so we came up with Soften Up Bro as an invitation, as a permission for tāne to be softer with themselves, to be gentle with ourselves, to be permissive with ourselves about the validity of what we're feeling. Because when we say Harden Up Bro, we're saying that's not worth you feeling this way. That's not true. That's not valid. Your response is an overreaction. Those are all those things that come inside that particular kōrero. So Soften Up Bro is an attempt and a kaupapa brought forward to try and address some of those issues.
And since then, bro, you know, I also had a kaupapa myself, and you came down to whakatāne and you facilitated, you know, some of the things that you had picked up throughout your journey. And there was this really cool thing around how you got us to do this rating, and it was, you know, 1 to 4 and no halves, and it was really helpful. And even to this day, you know, if I catch up with some of the bros who are part of that wānanga, you know, that's still the chicken. And so, you know, talk about that, bro, because I feel that's like a really good cue as well for us just to, again, check in with, you know, our bros and with ourselves. And, you know, it's still a very helpful thing for us. So, you know, can you talk about that, bro, the system?
Yeah. So if I remember correctly, we had a check-in system or number system that went 1 to 4, 1 being I am not doing well, and 4 being I'm doing very well. And there's arguments each way about having a middle or not, about having more numbers or not. But I find in terms of the kaupapa that we've attended, that's actually quite helpful and just quite clear for men. It's very pragmatic. So the tikanga was that if you're a 3 or 4, you're kind of good. You'll become a watcher. If you're a 2 or a 1, you become the watched, because that's an easy way and a number for someone to say like, brothers, I'm not okay. Like, I don't have to say, brothers, I'm going through something right now. I'm not doing well because of this, this, and this. You don't have to detail anything. You could just say, as easy as a number, I'm doing 1. And so that gave the ones who were going through it space and a opportunity to be honest with themselves and be honest with others, and also gave an indication to the group as a whole about who's doing better or who's in a place to support, to step into that responsibility and carry it for the team. So yeah, that's a system that we've used, something that we've taught just to start the conversation. Because that's another thing. Like, even if you're at a 1, like, yeah, cool, that's where we start. The hope is that we also get to find out what's behind this one as well. Yeah. So that's also
Oh well, bro, chicken system. What are you at? What are you at right now?
I'm probably about I'll be a 4G. Yeah. I might be riding off the high of today's whānau, but
whānau
I'm good, bro.
everything else that's been going.
I'm pretty all good. Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome, brother. And I'll probably be rocking at a 3, considering like everything that's been going on. And I think the reason being, bro, is there was a point there where I rocked back down to maybe a 2. I really want to say a 1.5, but I'll say 2 because I wasn't at a point of just being out, down and out. And the reason that I feel like things have shifted is that there was like a mind shift. And you can get caught in this mindset where you feel like everything is just not going your way. You know, you're trying, you're working hard, and then you fall short. And then off the back of that fall short, you know, there's the synchronicities of things that just go wrong. I don't know if you've had that before, bro, but you have just a series is the word, a series of things just happening after the other. And I was just in that space, but I was like, oh my days. But then all the things that I know, and I shouldn't say I know, that I've learnt and the concepts that I've gathered, I had this realization that of course these are happening because of where I am within my own state of being, how I'm thinking, how I'm feeling, the actions I'm taking, the subconscious beliefs I have, and went down that rabbit hole, and it made me get a sense of accountability. But there was this one thing that I heard, and it was the shift that moved me from a 2 to a 3 almost immediately. And it was, although my back is up against the wall and these things were going not in the way that I had hoped, I heard this thing where it said, be grateful to God or be grateful to the universe that these trials and tribulations are happening, because they or it can see that your life is ready for that next stage. And so instead of being in the state of how I was saying of being comfortable, these challenges have come in to take me to that next level of my journey. And so the mindset shift was, instead of just being in the space of being like, damn, poor little old me, it's like, no, actually, this was actually good. It's good that I'm in the space because now I can learn from it. Now I can get that wake up to actually start being a bit more proactive in my approach. And so have you had anything similar happen to you in the past, bro? Or
bro. Like, I'll say this for myself and maybe for others. Like, sometimes we feel like we're fighting demons, and then we realize we are the demons. We're like, which is a confronting truth. It's confronting truth to hit. You're like, man, why is this happening? Why is this happening? I was like, brother, you put yourself there. Hemi, you did this to yourself. What are you talking about? And again, that whole process can only happen through internalization.
Yes.
It can only happen by going into yourself and going, brother, how did we get here? First, as a first point, like, just to talk to yourself, and if you need, go and talk to others and find solutions. But to do that accountability, bro, is probably one of the most yuckiest things. And
that ownership,
ownership,
accountability, and ownership,
the sharing of it, which is again another thing we keep running into through our spaces is like, as Soften Up bros, tāne will go through some of the most horrific physical challenges ever. We'll do some like crazy things. Like, I remember like my pūhoro, that was the most physically painful experience of my entire life. I would rather that than some of the emotional stuff I've had to do. It's crazy, bro.
Oh, yes, bro.
It's crazy. I'm like, that was sore. 100%. I'd still pick that over some of the fights I've had to have, some of the difficult conversations I've had to have, some of the accountability that I've had to do. It's honestly such a shock. And the thing is that that's a lot of us.
It's a good
tāne and potentially wahine as well. Like, but I think wahine are more well equipped, I guess, for those types of occasions. But it's real buzzy. Like, brothers, we'll run, the length of Aotearoa, but we won't sit down and tell people how we feel.
I like how you said, we're fighting demons, but then we are the demon, because in that same podcast with Jay Shetty and Russ, it sort of talks about how being a brave man, but a brave man is a man who learns how to face himself. And so again, it flips it, rather than this macho, having this bravado around being strong and being out there and wanting to have a fight with someone, but are you willing to sit with yourself and have a fight with yourself, So I think ourselves as tāne, and I think this could go out to wahine as well, but we'll just keep it sort of in the space of tāne. I think that's probably our biggest wero is the one that we have with ourselves. And if we can be a bit more softer, more gentle, more nurturing, more kinder to ourselves, it helps us to be ourselves, essentially, bro. That Hawaii iti.
Yeah.
You know?
One thing that I've just written it down is so the whole kind of premise of some of the whānau we've hosted is vulnerability, right? We center it on vulnerability. What is vulnerability? What does it feel? And a lot of the responses I get from tāne is typically like, it's outside of my comfort zone. It's stepping into discomfort, right? Those very phrases and those very words tell me that if you think vulnerability is discomfort, is outside your comfort zone, you're also telling me that your comfort zone is invulnerability.
Oh.
So if your comfort zone is invulnerability, that means you go to sleep, you go to the shower, you go through your whole day wearing armor. Wow. That's what your invulnerability
because if they were
is.
to step out of it, they wouldn't.
That'd be unsheathing.
Yeah,
it'd be taking off the armor, which tāne don't realize. We don't realize we're saying that.
No.
It feels uncomfortable to be in that space. I'm like, brother, you're telling me you wear this to sleep. You put your armor on, you don't take it off. There might be a few wee hours in the middle of the night where you lift the mask and you go like, holy, I had a big day. This was a big feeling that I had. But then as soon as the curtains open and the sun's up, back down, back on, and I step out into my day. I'm all good. Yeah, hey baby, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. All of this stuff. I'm like, it's armor, emotional armor protection has a purpose to protect, to keep yourself safe. The issue is that we're not taking it off. The issue is that we're wearing it all the time. This needs to be a taha ki atu, me te tai taha ki a rongo. There's times where we need to put on armor because we are going to fight. We don't do it when we're at peace. We don't do it when we're at home. We're putting up these walls, putting on these masks in front of the people we love, and that's the issue. That's one of the issues I hear from tāne. Like, if you're saying vulnerable is being uncomfortable, brother, you're living in vulnerability, and that's not where you're supposed to live.
Yeah, that's powerful, bro. Do you think that the vulnerability kōrero, and I've asked a few people this, and I remember hearing this from our mutual friend, the bro JV, a long time ago. And he was posing this kōrero within a wānanga just around how talking is a pretty big step. And the wānanga was around, what is a step before that? Is there a step before talking? Because that narrative around, let's kōrero, it's not weak to speak, although very true, it has a level of white noise because of how common that is. But it's not really giving the results of that. Like, what are your whakaaro around that, bro?
Yeah, so I agree. Talking is scary. Talking is a big thing. You could argue that the step before might be talking to yourself. The step before might be writing it down for yourself. But it is scary, and it probably needs to be scary as well. Another way I like to speak on that is making a separation between the performance of healing and the chaos of hurt. Right? So the chaos of hurt is where we are. The chaos of hurt is like, man, it's messy, it's ugly, I don't want to touch it. That's, brothers, if that's what it is, you need to get messy. So you need to get messy, right? The other side is the performance and stuff. Like, it's the healing, it's the tranquil music, it's all this like performance side of that. That's where we think we're trying to get to. I'm like, brothers, to be honest, we got to get messy first. Yeah. Really get in there, unpack it, feel uncomfortable, get into the nitty gritty of this festering thing, this cancer of a thing, before we can step into the performance of talking to others, before we get to the performance of talking to ourselves, the articulation of this whole process. So making that distinction about making the distinction to say, like, stop trying to be clean for something that's messy.
Yeah.
It's messy because it's messy. It's not messy because you're broken. It's not messy because you're wrong. It's messy because it's messy, brother.
When you said that, I just had some visuals of these moments that I've had with myself where it was messy, and like the, I guess, body expression, or like myself, it wasn't like how you might think. It was actually a lot more shelled, like I was a little boy in a sense, just curled up and just like in my feels and just having those tangies and just feeling just a lot of the chaos, as you said, and the messiness. It's all internal, but the external is actually like quite, I don't know what that kind of expression is, but it's like trying to just like shake almost, and fetal almost, and that's the experience I've had with myself. But when you said that, that's the visual that I had and the moments that came up. And because you're right, bro, it's messy and it's a very vulnerable kind of thing that you go to. But as you say, once you have that, there's so much healing that comes from it that it doesn't, because what I shared is still in me, or was in me before that release. And so to be able to have that, what I now don't have is that lingering or that weight of it. And so,
yeah, bro. And I think that's the point around, it's almost like bleeding, eh? Like, it needs to bleed out. It needs to come out because it's not supposed to stay in there. It needs to be released in a sense. And that feeling of that inner boy, that inner child, bro, that insecure child, that unknowing, unsure, that's such a core feature for a lot of us. Like we have that. I've only just, again, like recently had some confronting things come up for me. I'm like, holy, I thought I was confident. I'm like, and I really pumped it. I was like, nah, bro, I actually do have insecurities. I am still that insecure boy, not knowing what's up. What's this? And so through that process, I was just like,
we're so good at masking those insecurities of what we think we though, way.
Yeah. And I think that masking is ego. I think that was ego stepping forward and saying, no, bro, we're all good. No, bro, we don't show them that. Don't show them you're in school. You're on. I'm thinking like, man, what was originally trying to serve a job, to serve a function, to get me moving, to get me operating, has now become the issue. I'm like, yeah, but now I have this thing that feels hollow. I have this feeling that feels hollow because I can't address this insecure child that I haven't spoken to in a while, So it is, bro. It is natural, and I've only got here to really understand myself again through introspection. It's hard, boys. Like it is a hard process. It's a big process, but like if you don't start, like you'll never get there.
That's so cool, bro. One of the things that I want to bring up, and it's just come to my mind now, just around how we're so good at masking and we use substances to, do that. And, another mutual friend of ours, the bro Montel, done an awesome video around his journey of being alcohol free for, coming up almost 3 years now. And he shared in that video that he done, and it was just around, he was the vibe of the party and he was really good at and loved it, but he said it was masking all of how he was feeling internally. And so do you feel substance is a big thing that we lean on within these things that I guess makes it even harder to address?
100%. So substance abuse, substance use, whether it's drugs, whether it's alcohol, again, are all attempts to try and reinforce that armor that we have. In other cases, there might be humor. We use humor to mask our emotions. We use anger to mask us. We use silence to mask our feelings. But the thing with substance use is that it's an external matter that enters the body to change our physiology, right?
Wow.
And it changes it to one, it's quite literally poison, like in whatever capacity, it is poison. But it stops us from connecting to ourselves. It makes us numb. It makes us numb of the pain. It makes us numb of the anger. It makes us numb to everything else that we're feeling. Because if I can create separation from the feeling, I can create forward momentum. If I create forward momentum, I'm living. Good. Problem with substance use over time is it creates addiction, and it creates reliance, and then becomes your tolerance becomes so high that the amount you need to ingest becomes unsustainable, becomes dangerous, becomes a health risk. Substance abuse is very damaging. It can look very social as well. That's another part we try and run. Like, oh yeah, but I get to hang out with my mates. I'm like, yeah, you can, but the way you're hanging out with them is probably not ideal. It's probably not pro-social, and it's not feasible or sustainable, my bro. So yeah, substance abuse is a big one, and it's an easy one to hide behind.
And what do you think about this? I wouldn't call it a trend. I'll call it like a movement or a shift will probably be the best way. Because there's this, there is this shift with more Māori men moving down this pathway of going alcohol free, and some are going, all the way drug free and just really leaning into this hauora of fitness and, just looking after themselves. And are you noticing that, one? And two, like, what do you think about that, bro?
Yes. Yeah, I would agree, bro. I think there's been a growing appetite for more pro-social, healthy habits, whether it's fitness, whether it's meditating, whether it's recovery. All these things, I think, are ways to look after ourselves and to reinvest ourselves. And again, is a big step away from those practices of alcoholism. I think it'd also be fair to say that this change is not only because of health changes. I think it is us stepping away from the jobs that came with the alcoholism, whether it was hard labor, whether it's rural type of mahi, things that you would often frequent a pub, those types of societal changes, I think, are slowly starting to shift as well. So as much as it is something that we're seeing in ourselves, I wonder if at a national level, is it us as a country moving away from these practices, is us stepping away from rugby, is us stepping from the drinking culture associated with rugby? Who knows? But I do think that this whole approach is beneficial. While making a small caveat, I guess, of another thing I want to say, brothers, when it comes to physical health and when it comes to training, don't swap one addiction with another addiction. And what I mean by that is that I've shared this with our circle of brothers, the cobs, our peers. When we go through emotional kind of issues, when an emotional kind of combustion, we're like, okay, sweet, I'm just going to go training. I'm going to go train. I want to train it out. Yes, training's helpful. It creates behavior activation. It creates momentum, and it feels like you're getting somewhere because you don't end up getting stuck in the low mood. We also have to admit that we're using a physical solution for an emotional problem.
For an emotional 100.
That's not going to work forever.
Nah.
You need a emotional solution for the emotional problem.
That's it. Yeah.
So as much as we are moving, making healthy choices, investing in our tinana, I'm a practitioner of that. Just be honest with yourself and saying, like, but am I trying to run away? Am I trying to hide inside the workout from the fact that I am actually hurt? I am actually upset about this thing. So that's another part to this all. Like, let's make our ways into health and fitness, brothers. Don't make it an addiction, and don't make it an excuse to not address your emotional issues.
Again, meeting ourselves, bro? Right, and you're, currently studying, you're on this huarahi of really gathering information, mātauranga, you're researching, you're on your doctorate, I believe. And how was that world of academics? And what are the things that you're learning there that you feel is aligned to our cultural understanding of well-being? Like, what does that look like for you, bro?
I'll start with the cultural principle, I guess. Ko te mana o te kupu, ko te ora me te mate o te tangata. So what I mean by that is that the words that we speak can give life to people or bring death to people. Right? And what I want to make an alignment with is inside the clinical hours that I've done, the practices that I've been inside of, is that we'll have whānau members come in with some type of mental presentation. They have depression, they have OCD, they have schizophrenia, right? An array of different mental health issues. But each one of them will speak to one moment in time during their childhood where someone said something bad to them. It'll be like, I remember when my mum called me a dropkick. I remember when my dad called me a dumb cunt. Like, it's these explicit moments that they hold inside their minds, they hold inside their hearts, that end up informing the decisions that they make later on in life. It's one of the most profound things I've come to learn in my practice. It's like, man, this was a moment when they were 5 years old. The man that's in the room with me is 55 years old. And he hasn't forgotten the moment, what was playing on the TV, who was present in the room, who was present in the house. These moments in time, these moments of words have shaped who we are, have shaped who they are, who we all are. And so that's one of the biggest things that I've kind of walked away with. It's like, ko te mana o te kupu. Ko te mana o te kupu and te mana o te kupu ki ngā tamariki. How we speak to our children. Like those first 100 days, from 1 to for the first 100 days is most important. But then from 1 to 3, or from 0 to 3,
Right.
super important the way we speak to our kids. And then when they start to get to an older age, start to comprehend the comments we make about our kids, what we praise them for, what we condemn them for. Those are some of the most, like as a parent and speaking to other parents, I cannot understate the importance of speaking love, life, and light into your kids. It's honestly one of the most important things you can do is just say, you're a hard worker. Oh my God, you did so well. Because when we fall into some of the pressures, some of the distractions, and some of the negative side of parenting, we end up saying stuff we don't really mean.
Nah.
Oh man, you're so silly.
Yeah.
And then like, oh well, because my parent called me silly when I was a kid, I want to be serious all the time.
Yeah.
You know, like these are the ideas we form about ourselves.
Especially if it's reinforced.
If it's reinforced,
so you might hear that one memory, but if it's continued to be reinforced, man, it just rocks people's belief systems.
If they're like, oh, hey, I want to try this cool thing. Why would you want to do that? I'm never trying a new thing ever again. That's how profound these moments are, bro. Like there really is defining in your kupu. And so the way we speak to our kids, the way we love our kids is important because that's how they form who they are. That's how we're giving them the building blocks. And essentially, we're becoming the critics in their mind. So the voice you use needs to be articulated and needs to be carefully selected because you don't want an inner coach in their head going, do this, do that. No, you're doing it wrong. You want to be their cheerleader. No, I've got it. I believe in myself. Mum believes in me. Dad believes in me. That's what I could say.
Yeah, far out, bro. That's honestly so true. And I think about, moments where I've tripped up as a papa and,
as we do,
like said things that, like, as you said, shouldn't have said, or even done things that I shouldn't have done, or, and I think that's probably one of my biggest insecurities as a papa is like, man, because I always just, like as you're saying, talking about those things that I want to be competent in, papa's probably like at the top because I really just want to be the best. And I guess with that kind of either pressure or desire for myself, I think that drives a lot of, I guess, that insecurity because maybe the better word to do is like expectation. And do you think that's one of the biggest cripplers for us as men is like because of all of these things, we have high expectations of ourselves? And what are some things that we can, I guess, do to, mitigate that or reframe?
Honestly, bro, it's a regulation process. We have to go through and like regulate, like, is that like a fair expectation to have on myself? I saw one of the bros go out hunting and I was like, maybe I should get a gun. I was like,
I'm keen.
Yeah, okay, so get a gun license. I'm going to get a gun safe. Like, I was just thinking, like, brother,
where did this come from?
You never thought about this until you saw that post? I think, and I genuinely think, bro, some of these expectations, they're crippling. They're paralyzing. It's just like, you try to do all these great things and you feel like you're getting nowhere with none of them. And so you just feel like, again, another shortfall and another failure.
Yeah.
So I think another way to potentially regulate this is to just do an actual stock take of what you currently have.
An
audit of like, actually, I can speak my reo. I can go to my marae. I can recite this karakia. I can happily have a happy relationship with all my whānau members. I can do all these things. And because it's so easy to overlook. It's so easy to overlook all these things that we do have. Yeah. So I think just doing a simple audit or stock take on what you have, things you're grateful for, you'll suddenly learn like, oh man, like I'm actually doing a lot really well. Like this is like a weird one. Like even with me, I forget that like I have 2 degrees and I'm about to finish a doctorate. But I sometimes think I'm not smart enough. And I'm like, oh, gee, like that's pretty, if I was looking at you, I'm like, oh, fuck, that's pretty cool. And so again, like, just centering yourself on going inside. What do I have? What have I done? What am I proud of? What are the things that I'm proud of? So yeah, bro, I think that's one way to battle these unhealthy expectations.
Yeah, that's so nice, bro. Lastly, bro, kaupapa that I've been, ruminating on is a kaupapa called Brother to Brother, which is very similar to Soften Up. And, just speaks to the significance of, just having a brotherhood or even just having a brother because it's different. You know, it's different when you have, you know, a bro there that, you know, can check in on you, where you can talk to, where you can just gas bag, or you can have those moments where you just get that right advice at that right moment, or even something that we've come back to, just someone to sit in silence with. That's a lot of awhi. And so, you know, for you thinking about, you know, brother to brother and what that means for you to be in, I guess, relationship with a good bro, and you're lucky you've got, you know, twins, you know, you're triplets, bro, and so you know exactly what that's like. And so, you know, kōrero about that, bro, kia whakakapi e nei kōrero, around just that brotherhood or brother to brother.
Kia pono, bro. I've come to learn that my idea of brotherhood is quite intense. It's quite intense because I came into the world with two others, shared a room, shared a womb. So it can be quite intense. But the value, I think, or the
does
real...
that sort of go into friendships too, like how you see brotherhood? Do you sort of
you don't share undies? Oh, hold on, is that weird? You're not coming over to stay at my house tonight when I just met you. That's weird. Honestly, bro, I was like, oh, okay, maybe I am coming up on a bit strong.
Coming on a bit strong, eh?
Yeah, it can be a bit, I guess, overwhelming, eh?
Yeah,
in some ways. So yeah, that's definitely what I've come to learn. But if I look at it really at its core, it's a want to serve. It's want to serve another brother and to be there for another brother in a non-judgmental, safe and open way. And I think that's really the principle from brother to brother is to do away with ego, because that's got another. And even in brother to brother relationships, like, oh, you're doing this while I'm doing this, and then it's like a stacking of
competition,
competition, and sometimes it's good because it's like, yeah, we're both doing really good. The issue is that we now created a scaffolding that's impossible for us to have the lows. You know? So I think that can be, it is good because we're stacking, but it's like, oh, now I've got to tell him I'm not doing good. Like, oh, I don't want to break this down. So yeah, that's another way. So I think it's about taking away the ego, taking away the achievements in a way, and just opening up a clear space of safety and non-judgment to say, like, brother, I'm not doing well. I've been thinking this about myself. I've had this dark thought come up for me. That means that's for me what brother to brother is. And I remember speaking about this, like, if I call someone bro, that's like an acquaintance. But if I go to brother, that's like he karangatira. It's like, bro, like, I really need your help.
That's almost like much love and I love you.
We're very different. Love. I'm like, say I love you. Say I love you though. It is, brain. Like, and maybe again, that's the intensity of my brotherhood. But I do think it's stepping into a safe, non-judgmental, and open-minded relationship with another brother.
Cool, brother. Man, this is it's been an awesome kōrero, bro. Very, in my mind, it feels heightened in terms of the frequency of the kōrero, and I just want to thank you for bringing that into, you know, the Planting Seeds podcast, the value that you have, and no doubt there's going to be some people watching this or listening that are going to take something away, because we talked about some very practical things here around, you know, not being too far out in terms of our projections and being able to come back into this Hawaii iti, the being silent for 60 seconds, that check-in system, doing a note to self if you're feeling struggling to actually talk out to other people, and again, just being able to just meet with ourselves and have these moments to better understand self. And so, kia koe, brother, you know, just want to say thank you for all of the mahi that you are doing, and also just for being a good friend and brother to me. So, tēnā koe, brother, o tira, tēnā tātou.
Tēnā tātou.
Che. Make it, bro.